Hello, and welcome to the Long Beach City College Adjunct Faculty Recruitment Process Training. Let's go ahead and get started. Here's our agenda for today. We'll be going over the adjunct process, collaborative contributions, human resources procedures, equivalency, rules and regulations, Chancellor's Handbook minimum qualifications, and adjunct faculty emergency hire. The purpose of this training is to first inform department heads on the adjunct recruitment process and all the steps involved, and then also to ensure a universal and shared understanding of the adjunct recruitment process. The Long Beach Community College District Administrative Procedures outline the rules for academic recruitments, including hiring of part-time hourly or adjunct faculty. The main steps of this procedure are listed below. First, the Vice President of Human Resources, or designee, is responsible for ensuring that the procedures are followed for compliance with equal employment opportunity. Second, the objectives are to establish a qualified pool of candidates which the department can select from and to support EEO. Lastly, the rules and regulations outline the entire hiring process, from selection of the committee to interviews and candidate selection process. Some important items to note regarding the selection process are that in circumstances where 3 or more qualified candidates exist in the pool, at least 3 candidates must be selected for interview. If less than 3 qualified candidates exist within the pool, each of the qualified candidates must be interviewed. Secondly, all interview questions must be pre-approved by Human Resources. At least one of those questions should address experience teaching students from diverse backgrounds. And lastly, at the conclusion of interviews, the committee shall recommend a candidate and present them to the area dean, who is responsible for the selection and hiring. Here we have our adjunct recruitment process map. This serves as a quick guide to show you each step of the recruitment process. The process is initiated by the department head contacting HR and letting us know that there is a need to fill a position. Next, the department head will communicate to HR a hiring timeline. This includes how long you'd like the job posting to be up for and a general time frame of when you'll be conducting interviews. Next, HR will open the position on our careers page and begin the process of assigning the EEO training to all participating committee members. Next, HR will screen applications for state minimum qualifications and application completeness. A complete application includes a resume, cover letter, transcripts, and 3 professional references. Moving on to the next row in the process map, the department head will work on interview questions and email them to HR for approval prior to screening of the applications. Next, the department head and supporting faculty will screen applications in NeoGov and rate them by either marking them as pass, fail, or by leaving comments. An important reminder that I'd like to note is that eligible candidates in the pool are interviewed until either the pool expires or is exhausted. HR will archive failing applications or applications that are 2 years and older. Lastly, moving on to the third row in the process map, the department head will coordinate with involved faculty to schedule interviews. Then, once a candidate is selected, the dean will review and sign a hiring form to authorize the new hire. The department head will then submit the interview and hiring form to Human Resources. From that point on, Human Resources will contact the new hire and begin the onboarding process. This next slide shows the collaborative effort that is involved in the adjunct recruitment process and how each of us contribute in our own individual roles as deans, department heads, full-time faculty, and human resources representatives, all with the goal of understanding the recruitment process and making sure we follow the process and procedures. But before we can get the recruitment process started, the department head or full-time faculty will have to fill out the adjunct intake form, where you'll have to provide an answer to the questions listed below. This helps us acquire more information about your request to open a recruitment. Minimum qualifications. All public California community districts have hiring authority and must adhere to the minimum qualifications when establishing hiring criteria and/or determining hiring eligibility. The minimum qualifications listed on the job posting should come directly from the California Community College's Chancellor's Handbook. Also, a list of desirable qualifications should be developed by the department to outline what skills are needed in order to perform this position. These will be used as a guide for screening applicants by the department. If a position outlines an equivalent option as an alternative to the specified minimum qualifications, an equivalency statement would exist or need to be developed by the department in collaboration with the equivalency committee before the position can be opened. As a best practice, the department head will provide the statement to HR to include in the recruitment posting. If a statement doesn't exist, one should be created. Continuing on that topic of equivalency, it's important to note that an equivalency committee does exist on our campus and is one of the many academic senate committees here at Long Beach City College. They are tasked with evaluating the degrees and experience of the potential faculty where those items do not easily align with the state minimum qualifications for a specific discipline. Those degrees and experience are then evaluated to see if they are equivalent to the minimum qualifications. In reviewing the applicant pool, the department head will identify those who qualify by the local equivalency standard. Then, the department head submits the application packet to the equivalency committee chair. The department head should submit anyone that may fall under equivalency to the equivalency committee. HR and the department are then formally notified on the applicant's status, and HR can proceed with the hiring process if the applicant has been approved. Switching gears, the next topic I'll be briefly talking about is adjunct faculty emergency hire. Should a situation arise which necessitates an emergency hire, the department head may hire an individual for a period of 1 semester with approval from the dean. The dean will notify human resources in writing of the emergency hire and the justification for the emergency. The applicant may not be rehired for any subsequent semesters without first meeting the criteria for the standard hiring process as defined within this regulation, meaning an adjunct recruitment must take place. The following bullet points are examples of when an emergency hire can take place. After reasonable and sufficient recruitment efforts, the department is unable to find at least 3 qualified candidates to select for the position, and/or time doesn't allow for a regular adjunct faculty hiring process to take place. For example, someone declining the position offer right before the semester starts, or if an existing faculty member has a medical emergency and goes on leave during the middle of a semester. Emergency hires are to be used in those situations when an unanticipated change happens and a replacement is urgently needed. This next slide shows where the request for emergency hire section is located on the adjunct hiring form. This form will need to be completed and signed by both the department head and the dean to authorize the hire. Once completed, this form should be forwarded to Human Resources. The candidate cannot start working until onboarding is complete. This slide shows the front page of the adjunct interview and hiring form. This page will need to be completed for every candidate who interviewed for the position. To wrap up this training, I'd like to leave you with a few helpful tips from Human Resources. Please submit the adjunct hire request or adjunct intake form up to a month in advance or as soon as the hiring need arises. Create a detailed and succinct desirable qualifications list to attract the best candidate and meet the department needs. If an equivalency statement exists, please be sure to include that in the posting as well to attract as many qualified applicants as possible. NeoGov training. Reach out to Human Resources if you would like some training on managing your candidate applications and selections. And lastly, please feel free to call Human Resources with any questions regarding the process. We are here to help. That concludes our training on the adjunct recruitment process. Thank you for your time.